BTV brings you the Quad A Championship game between the McEachern Indians and the Valdosta Wildcats. Major funding for this program is provided by Georgia Natural Gas Services, an affiliate of Atlanta Gas Light Company. Additional funding is provided in part by IBEW Local Union 613, South Trust Bank, Campus Critters, and Elan Natural Waters. Last night, 40 degrees in Fort Valley. Tonight, 70 degrees in Valdosta. Go figure. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Quad A Championship game. I'm Jim Ginocchio. This place has been called Death Valley. It's been called Wintersville, but it's basically known as Bazemore Hyder Stadium. It was named after the two legendary coaches, Wright Bazemore and Nick Hyder. Take a look at those records. How many teams can say their two previous coaches combined for 517 wins? And as you can see, Coach O'Brien, in only his third year, is playing in his second championship. This was earlier. Coaches believe in good luck. These players are, this is live, they're hitting the tin roof with their helmets. And that has been a tradition here, a good luck tradition for the Wildcats over the years. Now, Bazemore and Hyder, we were talking about, built a dynasty. Check this out. The most winningest program nationally. And they've been around since 1913, 20 years less than the other schools, and they still can't touch them. We bring in our Quad A analyst now for the Quad A Championship game, Jim Hughes from Colquitt County. Coach, Valdosta shoots for their 23rd state championship. On the other hand, McEachern, #1.
They may be the new kid on the block as they search for that championship, but they're a team on a mission. They're strong, they're well coached, they play with great confidence, and in their eyes, they've paid their dues and they expect to win.
And here's how the two teams got here. First of all, McEachern, last week at the Dome against your team, Coach, sorry to say, A.J. Suggs benefits from Coach Jimmy Dorsey's system. 2/3 run, 1/3 pass. There's no pressure on Suggs to create. He just executes. Then there's the triple threat of the running backs, Shannon Levette, Henry Odua, Norville McKenzie. That gives the Indians their edge offensively. Three great running backs for McEachern. They're known for their precision. Valdosta, on the other hand, well, they're known for something you just can't coach. Speed. Carlos Gatlin is one of the best option quarterbacks around.
He is absolutely the key to their offense. He makes them go.
And what a great move by Carlos right there. Meantime, Carlos's cousin, Craig Gatlin, is special on special teams.
Kick returns are such a major part of Valdosta's success over the years.
Carlos Gatlin has a great receiving corps coach. Barron Johnson is the main guy.
We think they need to throw and catch the football to win tonight.
Then there's the flash. Fleet-footed, as I call him, Reddy Stewart.
We need for him to get on the perimeter, use his speed out there, get him in the end zone.
And hopefully he'll make up for the loss of Carl Walker with his injury. So it's almost like O'Brien's offense is saying, hey, catch me if you can. Most teams haven't been able to do so in 1998. All right, Coach, key points of the game.
McEachern needs to maintain their rhythm on offense and avoid turnovers, minimize the big plays by Valdosta, and protect Suggs from a very aggressive defense. Valdosta, on the other hand, needs penetration on defense. They need to use their speed to get on the perimeter, and they need to win the special teams wars.
All right, so those are the keys to the game. Now, for the second year in a row, we go to our Quad A Championship team up in the booth. Phil Schaefer and Jeff Van Note. Hey, guys, it's a lot warmer down here tonight.
Thank you, Jim, and a lot of good things can happen if you win this football game. For example, you can make headlines. And we've got a couple of headliners playing in this football game tonight. Jeff Van Note, starting with McEachern, the #1 team in the state at the end of the regular season.
Well, the two best teams are playing at the end. That's what you want in a football game. We've got one of those tonight.
Let's take a look at those McEachern stats, Jeff.
14-0, 2,600 yards rushing, 41 rushing TDs. They like to do it on the ground, and you heard Jim talk about Suggs. He wants to throw the ball when he wants to throw it, and he does a great job of it. 62% completion on the year, but they've got those three backs, and Coach Hughes pointed it out, I think, more than anything. Use their speed defensively to penetrate, knock out the rhythm of that offense.
And, of course, they're going against a Valdosta team that has a tremendous tradition. Valdosta looking for their 23rd state championship. They had a good season, 13-1. Their only loss to Colquitt County. As we take a look at their statistics on the year, you can see the record. They like to run the football, and they do so very effectively with 2,200 yards. They can also pass the football, 11 TDs, and they got 4 defensive touchdowns to go with that. So they have the complete package, just like McEachern does. Stewart was the big man last week, 134 yards, and they'll really call upon him to do the job tonight, especially with the injury to Walker. So there you see the two football teams that are going to be squaring off in this, the championship game. And now let's go down to our man on the sidelines once again tonight, Dennis Dumler.
Phil Schaefer and Jeff Van Note, it's a pleasure once again to be with you here for the Quad A championship game in what truly is a magnificent and historic stadium. I wish that every high school football player in the state of Georgia, north or south or east or west, could come here and experience the electric atmosphere that we have for this one. Folks, it's the last game of the year, and it's for everything. Let's continue on now. Back to Jim Giannacchio.
Thank you, Dennis. The Wildcats for the Quad A title. It's all coming your way after these messages and a word from GPTV. Enjoy the game, everybody.
The McEachern Indians taking on the Valdosta Wildcats. It's the #1 team against the #7 team, and whoever wins this game will be crowned the state Quad A champion. Good evening, everybody. This is Phil Schaefer along with Jeff Van Note. And Jeff, we saw both these teams in the Georgia Dome last week in the semifinals. This really looks like a great matchup.
Well, a very powerful, methodical, grind-them-out type of offense with McEachern. Great speed on Valdosta. Ought to be a great matchup.
Here's the kickoff. It is a short one, fielded by one of the up men. In fact, that is Suggs carrying the football. He's on the kickoff team, and he brings it out across the 30 to the 35-yard line, and we get underway. Here's the starting lineup for McEachern offensively. A.J. Suggs is the quarterback, and then you have Odua, Levette, McKenzie in the backfield, and, of course, the fine receiver in Gilligan. There's that line, and they've got some size there. The defensive unit for Valdosta getting set to meet A.J. Suggs as we get ready to go in this football game. And I said Suggs made the stop. Actually, it was Shannon Levette. And there's Levette carrying the ball right now. Levette picks up a couple yards as they run out of that wing T. We're going to see the wing T formation throughout the evening. And before we talk about that, let's take a look at the defense for the Valdosta Wildcats. Dukes and Blaylock are right in the middle of that line, along with Miller. For the Wildcats, the linebackers, Johnson and Buford. And then, of course, in the secondary, Moore, Robertson, Rogers, and Williams. And it was Robertson making the stop on that last play. It'll be second down, 2nd and 8, as they line up in the wing T. Handoff is given to the big guy, and this is Odua, and Odua does it over the right side. He is finally brought down by Robertson, who comes up from the secondary.
There you see A.J. Suggs going over and getting the play call from Coach Dorsey of McEachern. He goes to the sidelines every play, comes in, gets the play call, gets it off in time.
McEachern has dominated their region. 5 Quad A. They have won 41 straight games in their region. In the playoffs, they beat Dunwoody, Cedar Shoals, Northside Warner Robins, and Colquitt County last week. Suggs goes to McKenzie, and McKenzie has the first down as he nears midfield. And again, it was tackles being made by people in the secondary, Robertson and Jackson. A.J. Suggs directing the attack.
Well, a good job on the left side by McEachern's Kareem Walston. Number 71, Michael Dillard, 77, the left guard, the left tackle working against Cantrell Cooley, 30, and Elijah Miller, 94. Cantrell Cooley, 6'3", 185, going up against the 250-pound Kareem Walston.
Gilligan, their leading receiver, goes off to the left, and it looks like that's where they're going to flood it a little bit. That's a short side of the field. Now a little bit of motion. They go to Odua, and he tries the left tackle position. Picks up a few yards. Odua is their leading rusher this year, as he has run for 1,128 yards. And the Valdosta defense, you can see what they did last week. 3 sacks against Brookwood and 179 total yards. So they did a great job as Suggs comes back into the huddle.
They did that minus 10 yards rushing. That last play, you saw Eddie Buford, the linebacker, blitzing up the middle. I think you'll see a lot of run-down blitzes by their linebackers, trying to get that penetration, take on the fullback, take on the lead blocker.
Game just getting underway as McEachern has picked up 1 first down, and now they go to McKenzie, and he tries to get a second one, but he'll be about a yard short on that particular carry. Again, Robertson, who's been very active in the secondary, comes up to make the stop, and he got help that time, along with Cooley, the defensive end.
Well, good job here by the fullback, though, Norval McKenzie, I think it was, or rather Odua, blocking against Matt Herring. You're looking at Valdosta. They want to crash the defensive end. They want to shoot a linebacker up the middle, try to penetrate. That time Matt Herring, he's got to narrow it down a little bit more. It's tough to. The block came from Odua, and then the ball carrier came inside of him.
Suggs at quarterback sends Levette in motion. Now hands it off to Odua, and he goes nowhere. He'll lose a couple of yards on that play. And boy, the defense was ready that time, as Herring was the first man to make contact with Odua. And that'll bring up a 4th down situation.
A little bit of a sucker play here a little bit. As you see, Odua is trying to sneak to the outside. They're pulling both Max Binns and Randy Gibbs, the right guard and right tackle for McEachern, pulling them to the left. They're hoping that Odua kind of slips through unnoticed.
Punt formation for McEachern as Suggs boots it away. Line drive is coming down, and it is going to be fielded by Valdosta's Brennan Johnson on the 18-yard line. So Valdosta takes over offensively now. Carlos Gatlin will direct the attack, and he's getting last-minute instructions along the sidelines from Coach O'Brien. He'll be in the backfield with Emory Patterson, Fred Stewart, and Scott Fletcher. Mike O'Brien, you can see his record in his 5th year at Valdosta. Valdosta comes out of the huddle, put a couple of wideouts in the slot on the right side, and then they run the speedster. That's Stewart as he tries to get outside, and that will probably be one of the main focuses of the attack tonight, Jeff, as far as Valdosta is concerned, is freeing Stewart because he has that great speed.
Well, he does. He had 134 yards last week, 13 carries. He's got explosive speed too, Phil. A 42-yard touchdown last week, a 38-yarder against Griffin earlier in the playoffs. That time he outran his pulling guard, Joe Godfrey, and had a nice pickup, nice 7-yard run.
Craig Gatlin brings the play in from the sidelines. He's a cousin to the quarterback. Carlos Gatlin, 5'9", 155, a senior. This time they're going to run the end around, and that's Ricky Williams. Bo Arnold quickly up to make the stop on him. Ricky Williams in the backfield in the place of Carl Walker, who is out with that broken leg. And there's a starting lineup. As we mentioned, Gatlin directs the attack. Walker, Stewart are in the backfield. Johnson and Fletcher are the wide receivers. And along the line, Tarpley is a tight end. He's made 27 catches. He's a good one. Valdosta up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 after the nice pickup. Only one running back. And it is fake. Gatlin will keep it himself. He's got some running room as he gets to midfield. Carlos Gatlin on the loose. Ray Miller finally got him.
Valdosta comes out, trips left, wants to split out this defense. He'll fake up the middle. I think it was Patterson, but Carlos Gatlin keeping the ball. Not a bad option. He's averaged almost 5 yards a carry this year. And notice the first 3 plays, Phil, all outside. A reverse outside, 2 outside runs, a keep by the quarterback, and also by Fred Stewart. So they're attacking the edges of this defense. And you can see the starting defensive unit for Valdosta, or rather for McEachern, on the screen as Valdosta runs off the right side on 1st down. Arnold and Piper that time combining on the tackle. They thought they had a fumble. Jamie Hamilton, their fine defensive end, number 98, also in there, and the handoff to Patterson. He broke that outside. A play designed to go maybe up behind tackle, taking it outside, picking up 5 yards. Hamilton thought he had a tackle. The ball was down.
Baron Johnson goes off to the right side. Again, they go with an offset formation. All the blocking to the left side, and that's where they go with Fred Stewart. The little guy is going to have to be the workhorse. Piper, the linebacker, was there, and Levette quickly up from his safety spot.
Eric Levette very quickly up from the safety spot. You get the safety involved in the game right at the line of scrimmage, and you become that 8-man front, and it's very difficult to run against. Hard to account for him.
6:23 left to go in the first quarter. There is no score. Valdosta, first time they've had the ball in the football game, and they have moved it with some regularity on this drive. Now they will throw to the right side, and the pass is almost caught. Baron Johnson, their leading receiver, who came into this game with 33 catches, was out there with Bo Arnold as we look at it again.
The short 2 or 3 step drop. He gets it out to Baron Johnson, trying to use his height. Baron, 2 chances to catch that, though, well covered by Ray Ivy. Ray Ivy not giving much cushion. Was that Bo Arnold? No, that was Ray Ivy.
Now on 4th down, Valdosta will be forced to punt. Justin Northcutt in punt formation. There's the snap, and the kick goes away, and it is a high one sailing into the end zone, so there will be no return. And McEachern will take over on their own 20-yard line. 0-0 the score. Let's go down to Dennis on the sidelines.
Phil, very quickly, both teams kind of feeling each other out in the first series. It's obvious that the Valdosta team has the speed factor. That's, as you and Jeff were pointing out, that's why they're running outside a little bit. The McEachern coaches are very confident of the fact, though, that their linebackers can step up and make those plays. Phil, back to you.
So McEachern takes over with A.J. Suggs directing the attack. Boy, what a year he's had. Almost 2,000 yards passing the football. This time he goes with Levette, and Levette will pick up 9 yards on the play. So they give him the wing back in motion, and he is finally brought down by Moore and Robertson.
There's a nice run by Levette, the cousin of Eric, it's Shannon Levette, the cousin of Eric Levette. Somebody had a shot him in the backfield. I did not catch that number. It might have been Elijah Miller, number 95, on penetration from the defensive tackle spot. And when you do that, you can't afford to miss, because you're assigned to make that stop in the backfield, and that's what you have to do. And if you don't, look what happens. 9 yards.
Gilligan is off to the right, and he is the lone wideout on this play as they run Odua up the middle, and Odua has the first down with 5 yards to spare, and Sam Rogers quickly up from the secondary to make the stop on the play. Odua, who averages over 6.5 yards per carry and has accounted for 17 touchdowns on the ground this year, getting the first down for the Indians.
Nice story on him in the paper the other day. Hasn't been playing a lot of football only since his sophomore year, but he's a big, powerful, fast runner, good soccer player, so he's a good athlete, and he's adjusted nicely.
And he is the lone setback. Now they run Levette in motion, and with Odua in front of him, he tries to turn the corner, but he is unable to, as Marlon Buford, the linebacker, knifes in there to make the stop.
Well, that's what they want. That's what Valdosta is looking for. Penetration across the line of scrimmage. Joseph Collins, you'll see him here, 97, taking on the lead block of Odua, holding the ground. Let Buford come inside out and make the tackle. But if you let him get wide, or you get fooled by the action in the backfield, he'll make that big run on you, that 8- and 9-yard run. They've got to eliminate that.
2nd down and 11. McEachern in their own territory. Suggs goes with the straight ahead play this time, and it nets fairly good yardage right up the middle. They get it out to the 39-yard line. Buford and Robertson combine on the tackle. It'll bring up a 3rd and 6.
Third down that McEachern has been in this. He's going to Tennessee. A.J. Suggs, I think the last 2 they ran the ball. This time I think you'll see McEachern put the ball up in the air. And he's a 62% completion guy.
So 3rd and 6. A little bit of confusion on where they should be lined up. Now they get that settled. Wing is to the right. Suggs back to throw. Pretty heavy rush. Rolls to the right. Unleashes a pass, and it is incomplete. No way that could be caught along the sidelines, as Suggs put it where only his man could get it, and even he couldn't get it. Jason Williams defending on the play.
Tremendous pressure inside out. Arthelius Dukes, number 93, defensive tackle. Biggest guy, no, the second biggest guy they have along that defensive line for Valdosta.
A.J. Suggs, as you can see, set to kick the football away. He has signed a letter of intent with Tennessee. He will graduate in January. He's a starting forward on the basketball team. And a fair catch is made by Brandon Johnson. So Valdosta takes over offensively. No score. 3:21 left to go in the first quarter. Valdosta 13-1, and as we mentioned last week, they have won so many state championships. The first one coming in 1940. They won another one in 47, and then they really got rolling in the 50s. They won 5 state championships in the 50s, 7 in the 60s, 2 in the 70s, 4 in the 80s. They won one in 90 and another one in 92. Here's Stewart. He is in a bunch of troubles. He tries to wiggle out of it, and he'll lose yardage on the play. Fred Stewart, who was able to get loose early last week in their victory over Brookwood, which a game they won 37-7. But that time, Jamie Hamilton was there to get a hand on him first. You can see Stewart's rushing yards during the season.
5.9 average. That time they were running the freeze option to the left, to the weak side, into the boundary. Good pitch, I thought, by Gatlin, and for some reason Fred just froze for a second. Fred Stewart froze for a second, was a little indecisive of how he wanted to run it. He might not have complete control of the ball, but he didn't take it upfield quick enough.
2nd and 16, nobody behind the quarterback, so they're in a passing set. They flip it out on the right side, and the catch is made, but not much yardage on it as Bo Arnold was there to defend. We can see the play again.
Put Ricky Williams in motion, get him outside, get a blocker out in front of him. But Bo Arnold up with the sure tackle. A very cut block tackle by Bo Arnold for a loss, or at least no gain.
Ricky Williams and Emery Patterson are sharing time at fullback tonight. It seems like they're using Williams a lot in the passing situations. They've got another one here. Gatlin back to throw, heaves it down the left side, and it's not near anybody. So it goes incomplete. No score. In comes the kicking game.
Well, a little too much pressure that time. Ray Miller rushing off the left side of Valdosta's line.
Mike O'Brien looking at his team. 12th year at Valdosta.
Mike's the offensive coordinator also for his football team. He calls the play. There's Jimmy Dorsey, fine coach from McEachern also.
Actually, overall, Mike has been here 18 years, coached the quarterbacks and running backs.
I thought it was interesting. Jimmy Dorsey wanted to build his program. We talk about it a little bit after this punt.
And McEachern will just let it roll toward the sideline. They'll have excellent field position as it goes out of bounds around the 47-yard line. A 28-yard punt is recorded, and now McEachern will have the best field position anybody's had tonight to start off.
You know, I thought it was kind of interesting. There was an article written, and Coach Dorsey talked about how he wanted to improve the program at McEachern, and he thought he needed to upgrade the competition, so he started opening the year playing Valdosta. In 3 years in a row, they lost all 3 games by big-time scores, but it got his players used to playing big-time competition. They were ready for it.
1st and 10 for the Indians. Here comes the pressure. Suggs unloads. Gilligan is out there. He dives and just barely misses the football. Boy, those two are a great combination. Against Northside Warner Robins, Gilligan had 9 catches for 102 yards, but that one was thrown a little bit too far as the pressure was coming on the quarterback, and Godfrey Moore was out there defending as we go down to the sidelines once again, and Dennis Dumley.
Phil, very quickly, Andrew Jernigan, an offensive lineman for McEachern, told me that what they're doing on defense, Valdosta, is they're overshifting a little bit. So let's look for a little bit more motion and maybe some play action from the McEachern offense. Get things going for them here in the first period. Phil?
2nd down and 10. Suggs walks up to the line of scrimmage. Looks over the defense as the man goes in motion. Now he hands it off to Levette on the inside handoff. He tries the left side, and he won't even get back to the line of scrimmage. Last year, Valdosta beat McEachern 21-7. In 1991, it was 28-7, and in 1990, it was 13-7.
Watch Buck Blaylock here working against Jernigan, the center. He takes a side to where the play is going to go. A lot of penetration by Buck Blaylock. The nose guard forces Jernigan back. He's trying to position block him a little bit, and that disrupted the play. You got a 3rd and 12. Once again, they force McEachern, Valdosta, with their penetration, into a 3rd and long situation, Phil.
Suggs puts Odua to his left, sends Levette to his left, will throw to the right, and he overthrows as he tries to hit Bo Arnold. So in the early going, A.J. Suggs has been throwing high, Jeff. Ball seems to be flying on him a little bit.
Not getting a lot of time to throw. This time is Cantrell Cooley, number 30. They switch him from the right side, move him over to the left side, defensive end, working against Max Bin, 72, the right tackle, and he forces the ball too soon. A.J. Suggs is not getting enough time to throw.
And consequently, he'll have to punt. Gatlin is back, and so is Johnson. This is Gatlin fielding the ball. He had a big play last week, but not on this one. So Valdosta takes over, and we've been going back and forth in the first quarter of this football game, and there's only 29 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and it is a scoreless duel at this time after a 37-yard punt.
Well, defensively, that's a victory so far in the first quarter for Valdosta. They forced 3 punts, especially that last one. That was 47. They were on the 47-yard line, tremendous field position, and Valdosta came up with a stop.
And these are 2 high-scoring teams. They both score in the 30s. Valdosta running the football off the right side. Jimmy Dorsey said earlier in the week that he was really concerned about the quarterback for Valdosta because he is so quick. That time Joe Jones made the tackle.
As Gatlin goes, so goes Valdosta's offense, and probably so goes their football team. You cannot play defense for the entire evening. So he has got to create some plays throwing, create some plays running. His leadership done a tremendous job this year. Last week, look at him, 7 out of 11, 73 yards, 1 TD against Brooklyn.
And that's going to be the end of the first quarter of play. Valdosta at home, 0. McEachern on the road, scoreless as well as we end the first quarter of play for the state Quad A championship.
You're watching the GHSA football finals on GPTV.
We've had a standoff thus far in the first half of this football game as we begin the second quarter. Valdosta and McEachern are scoreless. 2nd down, 2nd and 7 for Valdosta as they run Stewart up the middle. Big hole. He's got some running room as he gets across the 40-yard line. Fred Stewart, 160-pound senior, scampers up the middle. Edward Bowen, the free safety, finally got him.
Flip-flop the tackles. That's Brett Hester moving over to the right tackle spot and trapping left to right. There you see the trap block on number 94, Ray Miller, big Ray Miller, 6'1", 240. Big hole up the middle. That's the middle linebacker's play. Nice back block by Jason Dykes, 55 to center on the other tackle, Matt Clay.
This time they'll go to Patterson, and he goes into the pile on the left side. Patterson, part of the tradition here at Valdosta, as a flag is thrown. His father played on the 62 national championship team. He's averaging almost 7 yards per carry. Jamie Hamilton finally brought him down as he ran into the pile, and the penalty coming up will be against McEachern.
McEachern, I saw that front line average is about 230 across the board versus they outweigh by 20 pounds a man this offensive line of Valdosta. So Valdosta's got to do it with technique and quicks and trap blocks. They're going to have trouble moving the inside tackles. Matt Clay, 220, and certainly Ray Miller, 6'1", 240. Real fine defensive player. Nice article in the Atlanta papers this week about how he turned his life around by playing football. Excellent student.
Opening minute of the second quarter. Gatlin on the toss, goes to Stewart, and Stewart tries to turn it in as he gets to the 40-yard line. That'll net about 3 yards.
Excellent play. Defensive end, Brock Kaufman. You mentioned Hamilton most of the time, starting center in the basketball team. Certainly a Division I prospect at tight end or defensive end, defensive linebacker, 6'3", 245. Brock Kaufman on the other side, 6'2", 215, plays the freeze option and then gets out and makes the tackle. Nice job.
Scott Fletcher brings the play in from the sidelines. Fletcher and Gatlin apparently are rotating at that wide receiver position, and they're serving as the messengers from the sidelines. 2 sets backs behind Gatlin. Gatlin will go with Stewart, and Stewart powers his way down to the 35-yard line. Stewart is assuming the role, Jeff, that Carl Walker has played in the past as their power runner, and of course they've got to use him also to the outside, so he's being called upon to do a lot of things in this game tonight.
Well, Carl Walker, 220-pound junior, and going to be a great football player. He is a good football player now, going to be a great one next year. But they're sitting, he broke his leg last week, or broke a bone in his leg last week in the victory up in the dome. They're letting him sit out tonight, but it's hard to replace 1,000-plus yards rushing out of your lineup.
Patterson is the lone running back, and they fake it to him. Gatlin tries to get to the outside, and he will not get there as Eric Levette, the senior who is committed to Georgia Tech, 5'10", 185, came up to make the stop on the play. As we see it once again, a fine defensive play.
That's twice tonight we've seen Eric Levette flash up around the line of scrimmage. This time, Fred Stewart doesn't make the block on him. Fred Stewart has got to come back and get that block, but Eric Levette reads that play and saves a big gain by Valdosta across the 50.
And you could see, as it showed on the screen, 79 tackles, so he has done the job. Punting formation coming up is Justin Northcutt. Will kick it away for Valdosta, and a chance right now to put McEachern in the hole as Bo Arnold is deep, and looks like the flag is thrown because of a delay of game. 9:02 left to go in the second quarter. We're scoreless.
Well,
and they'll back it up. 4th down.
We have dead ball delay on the offense.
Okay.
Last time he put the ball in the end zone, and they got the ball in the 20. But this time, let's see if he can keep it inside that 15.
It'll hit around the 5, and it takes a bounce into the end zone, which will mean that McEachern brings it out to the 20-yard line. Game coming your way from Bazemore Hyder Field. Capacity 12,000. Let's go to the sidelines now, and Dennis Dumler.
Phil, I'm going to put a real thrill into some of the Valdosta fans when they see this young man, Carl Walker, suited up, but don't get too excited, Carl. You're not going to play tonight. That leg is broken, as a matter of fact, is it not?
Yeah, it's fractured a little bit, but not bad enough to have a cast on it.
That's why you're suited up here on the sideline, right?
Yes, sir. I'm part of the team, and I will always be part of the Wildcat team no matter what.
It's tough, though, sitting here watching your teammates, is it not?
Oh, yeah, it's very tough. Being able to sit here and watch a team perform, and you can't do anything about it, and you work hard all year. And, it seemed like one play just took me out, But I'll be back next year.
Carl, thanks a lot for your time. Phil, back to you in the booth.
Okay, as McEachern runs off the right side, Odua runs into Robertson, and that'll bring up a 2nd down. 2nd and 6 for the Indians. McEachern located in Powder Springs, Georgia. So they're out there in the far reaches of Cobb County. Last year they beat Cedar Shoals, lost to Chattahoochee in the playoffs. The school opened their doors in 1933, started football in 1959. Odua. Again, they run the power to the left side. Sam Rogers with the tackle, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I was saying they keep with it. This is, if you don't see the wing tee very often, it's a precise offense. Everybody has to be in a certain place. The timing has to be perfect. A.J. Suggs does a nice job of the cadence, the motion, the blocking, the lead block off of motion. It's an interesting offense to watch. It makes it doubly difficult for the linebackers, though, who have certain keys. And if they see a certain key they're used to seeing, a lot of times they'll be out of position.
Here's the toss. Goes to McKenzie, and McKenzie is bottled up. So on 3rd down, McEachern fails to convert, and they'll be booting it away as Blaylock and Robertson were both there to make the stop.
So here you see McKenzie trying to get outside. There's an awful lot of Valdosta there. I think the very first number that flashed was Sam Rogers, the defensive captain. He read the play at the get-go. He's up there from the safety position, much like Levette was twice for McEachern.
Johnson and Gatlin are back. Suggs boots it away, gets a nice kick away, and a fair catch is called for by Barron Johnson. So Johnson, who is very dangerous at returning the football, has not been able to do anything thus far tonight. He's had to call a couple of fair catches, and once again, Valdosta will take over after a 34-yard kick.
Pretty cautious, I think, by Coach Dorsey and McEachern, trying to run the football. They've been forced to punt the ball now 4 times, and not wanting to put it up in the air, not wanting to give up maybe an opportunity down on their side of the 50. Want to punt and play some defense.
Gatlin splits the backs, wants to throw, looks back, fires down the middle, and the pass is off target as he was looking for Lee Tarpley, the tight end. Tarpley, their number 2 receiver, with 343 yards, covered by Edward Bowen, and Tarpley is the son of one of the coaches here at Valdosta.
Yeah, Charles Tarpley, who coached baseball here for a long time, and also is the defensive coordinator for Valdosta. A lot of father-son combinations. A lot of coaches who have played here have come back and coached here. Coach Baker, the fine offensive line coach for Valdosta. This football team and tradition belong to this town.
2nd and long. This time they decide to let Stewart run it, and Stewart goes off his lone left tackle. We mentioned that we're at Bazemore Hyder Field. It's also known as Cleveland Field. Actually, it's Bazemore Hyder Stadium in Cleveland Field. There you see Coach O'Brien sending in the play from the sideline.
Scott Fletcher, big play receiver here. Not the receiver Baron Johnson is, nor Tarpley, their 3rd receiver. And but he has averaged about 18 yards a catch, so he has to go to make the big catch for them.
No score. We're in the 2nd quarter. 6 minutes left to go in the state championship game. Gatlin back to throw. Uncorks another deep one. The man is wide open, and the pass is dropped by Baron Johnson. And Johnson had a chance to convert a big play.
Tremendous blocking up front. They fake the freeze option and drop back to pass, but look at the blocking up front. The right guard doing a nice job on Ray Miller. Baron Johnson has Ray Ivy beat. He has him beat. He has to adjust to the ball, and it was in his hands, but the adjustment to the ball, I think he's got to adjust back over his shoulder. Very difficult adjustment. Might have lost a little bit in the light. It would have been a very difficult catch. Wasn't as easy a catch as you think, just because he got his hands on it.
Kick is away. It's a very high one, not particularly long, and there will be no catch made, and Valdosta gets a good bounce. Less than 6 minutes to play. We're still scoreless.
Punter's going to have all the stats in the first half here.
That was a 35-yard kick, and that's about what everybody's been doing, kicking in the 33, 34, 35-yard range back and forth.
Well, it's a good defensive struggle. Valdosta undersized, using their great quickness, penetration, little disruption on that run game, keeping it out of the rhythm. Here you see A.J. Suggs last week in the Dome against Colquitt County. 12 out of 17, 138, 2 touchdowns. He is an excellent, accurate, poised passer. And I think that in order for them to get moving, they're going to have to use the pass to open it up a little bit for the run.
And last week, McEachern came out on top, 35-14. Previously in the playoffs, they beat Dunwoody 28-6, Cedar Shoals 39-15, and that great comeback against Northside Warner Robins 24-21 when they were down by 3 TDs. Suggs fakes the inside handoff, rolls the left, little dump pass to Odua, and Odua can't handle the pass either. So both teams have had a couple of drop passes here in the last couple of plays from athletes that are normally sure-handed. Now let's go to Jim Giannacchio over in the booth.
Coach, you were saying that the Valdosta defense is putting a lot of pressure on Suggs, and that's forcing them to throw the ball wildly.
They're playing great 3rd down defense. 3rd and 2 becomes 4th and 3, 3rd and 6 incomplete, 3rd and 12 incomplete, 3rd and 3, 4th and 5. Great pressure on Suggs and great 3rd down defense.
Great speed on that Valdosta defense, too. Back upstairs, guys.
2nd and 10. McEachern in their own territory. Suggs hands it off, and they run it right up the middle. Odua, their power runner, met by Sam Rogers, and they will be about a yard shy of the 1st down. So 3rd and a very long one. Play coming in from the sideline as you see Suggs.
I think they're 1 for 5 on 3rd down so far. You just heard Coach Hughes talk about 3rd down has been a big down for him. 1st down becomes a big down by getting him in that 3rd down.
Odua last week with 149 yards was the main man and got that touchdown and was really the heart of their running attack. He's the lone setback, and before they can run the play, McEachern will call a timeout. Less than 5 minutes to play in the first half. It's been a scoreless half, and somewhat surprising when you consider that both these teams are so dangerous on offense. Remember, GPTV is your PBS station serving Atlanta and all of Georgia with great holiday programs. This Sunday, beginning at 7 p.m., it's Red Skelton's Christmas Dinner, followed by Perry Como's Irish Christmas. And at 9:10 p.m., Peter, Paul, and Mary Holiday Concert. Celebrate the season with GPTV. 4:53. Time remaining on the clock. As we said, we're at Cleveland Field, named after Dr. A.G. Cleveland, who was the superintendent of schools here back in the 1920s. And, of course, it's known as Bazemore-Hyder Stadium. The two great coaches, Wright Bazemore, won 268 games. Nick Hyder, 249 during 2 just really unbelievable careers. 767 victories, Jeff, for this school. Nobody in the country can match that.
Well, you look at Canton McKinley was in that list behind them, and also
Massillon,
Ohio, 2 great football powers, and Male High in Louisville for a long time. Wally Butts, who coached University of Georgia, former high school coach at Male High when they were a power.
Full house backfield. They go to this in the power situations where they want to get short yardage, and I don't know whether they got the first down. It appears they did not, as short. They got it just up to the 30-yard line, and they really needed to get it to the 31. Adrian Johnson, the linebacker, was probably the first man to get to him. He made a big defensive play against Griffin earlier this year and helped him win that ball game. Stripped the running back of the football and ran 34 yards for a TD when they were down 7-0. Look at the plaque for Wright Bazemore. That's one of the plaques that they have here at the stadium. This stadium has just got so much tradition. Now that's the plaque for Coach Nick Hyder, who tragically passed away a couple of years ago.
Well, 6 national champions. I think that says an awful lot about it. The 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. I think they were all during that period, all 6 of those national champions in high school. Now that's 6 of them is very unusual, especially for a town this size.
Well, you could see the counting going on. And the numbers came out right, so the play proceeds as Johnson goes down and nowhere to go. Thus far, McEachern has done a good job of bottling up the return men for Valdosta because they are an integral part of the attack by the Wildcats. Another punt in that same range, this one 36 yards. So they just keep kicking back and forth. Nobody's had that big play yet to get them on the board.
Well, defensively all night long, what McEachern is going to have to do is defend that speed. And it's on special teams and it's on offense. Great coverage that time. That was Ray Ivey with a tackle. Right behind him was Bo Arnold. 2 starting cornerbacks on the punt coverage team doing a good job.
The I formation as Gatlin goes to the tailback and Stewart running behind Patterson. Cannot go up the middle, so he goes to the outside and it's finally run out of bounds and very close to the first down.
What determined running. I mean,
one of the things that I think happened on that play, Jeff, I'm not sure the clock ran.
Well, it should have been. I mean, you're going to see the right guard. He's going to get stuffed right here. That's Ray Miller stuffing the right guard. But look at him shake the tackle of Wes Newsom. Look at him run away from Hamilton. Look at him run away from the other linebacker, I think, and that might have been Joe Jones.
Just when it
appeared, running.
Yeah, just when it appeared he was stopped, he got away, and finally Edward Bowen brought him down. So Valdosta comes up to the line of scrimmage now with 2nd and really just inches.
10 rushes, 38 yards, Fred Stewart.
Well, that's what he's done thus far tonight. He got off to a quicker start last week.
Now, the stat might not look that impressive. We know that Fred Stewart is a guy who averages almost 6 yards a carry. But 10 rushes, 38, 3.8. What it does, though, keep the chains moving a little bit, keep this McEachern offense off the field. That's a big part of the offensive attack tonight by Valdosta. There's that measurement, Phil.
So they are just shy as we look at the state championships, as they are listed on one of the boards, one of the many indications of the tradition and of the achievements of this unbelievable. These are the national champions for Valdosta.
2 in the 60s, 2 in the 80s. 1 in the 70s, 1 in the 90s.
And there you see the sign claiming "Welcome to Death Valley." It's not always a very kind welcome to the visitors.
Well, 4 decades of national championship football. That says an awful lot about this program.
Now Valdosta goes into a passing formation with 3 wideouts to the left side, and they run it straight up the middle on an obvious short yardage running situation. And that was Gatlin keeping the football, and he runs into the big muscle guys up front, Ray Miller and also Matt Clay.
Ray Miller working against, for the most part tonight, Joe Godfrey, 185. Ray Miller weighs 240. The left guard is Cliff Baker. He's 180, and another senior. He's working against Matt Clay a lot tonight. He's 6'2", 220. So you see the 2 guards. It's going to be very difficult to run inside. Quickness of Gatlin there made that quarterback sneak work.
Jeff, I'm not so sure the clock is working properly. That time they showed that play took 3 seconds. So
I didn't think he was that fast.
Well, now they've got it. Now they've got it running again. High formation. 1st and 10. Now the clock's running now, so we're okay. Here's Stewart up the middle. Finds a hole. Keeps plowing straight ahead. Picks up another 1st down. Well, Stewart's been active in this first half. Kaufman and Levette had to combine to finally bring him down, but it's another 1st down for the Wildcats.
The second time they've hit that play tonight up the middle, and they do it by pulling the tackle. This time it's Corey Williams, the left tackle, pulling left to right across the line of scrimmage, and for some reason it drug out the linebackers. There's a big hole up the middle as the 2 guards, Gottfried and Baker, maintain their blocks on Miller and Clay.
Stewart, this time, it nets nothing up the middle. Jeff, did you see the players coming out before the game, banging their helmets on the roof as they came through the little portal there?
On the tin roof as they came out of the locker room. Yeah, great tradition here.
You think that's where they got the name of the play from? Cat on a hot tin roof?
Phil, that's a New York play. This is Valdosta.
We're a long way from New York, that's for sure. 3:10 left to play. Shotgun. The Cats with Gatlin scrambling. He goes nowhere. Knocked down at midfield. Less than 3 minutes to play. Matt Clay was one of the first ones to get in there and get a hand on him. There you can see Matt Clay. Got that great size. He's only a junior.
Both those tackles. At the time it was also Ray Miller back there forcing him to step up. So pressure from the inside tackles. Coaches like to see their defensive inside, that push from the inside to force the quarterback out where he has to get outside. And Brock Kaufman and Hamilton, 2 good defensive ends for McEachern.
3rd and 15, so a long yardage situation as Gatlin looks down the right side. Man's not open. Now he dumps it off on the right, and it goes incomplete to Fred Stewart. He really wanted to go long down the right side to Barron Johnson, but Johnson was covered extremely well on that play by Ray Ivey, who stayed right with him. He was also getting pressure from Matt Clay.
I think he just dumped it. I agree with you. I think he just threw that ball away, threw it into the ground. Let's punt. Let's play some defense. It's worked so far in the first half. And you hold our McEachern team scoreless in the first half with the offensive firepower they have. You got to really be proud of your defensive effort.
Justin Northcutt to boot it away.
Okay, so you got to get a little bit.
Very high. Bo Arnold is over, runs away from it. Ball takes a reverse hop, but it's still downed inside the 15-yard line.
Best punt of the night. You got the knuckle on it. You got it to back up.
37 yards on that punt. Got it to bite. 2:06 left to play in the half.
You golfers with those terms. You love watching that stuff, don't you? The little knuckle come back at you. That's a great punt. It's a lost art.
The Valdosta Touchdown Club. Boy, they're here in force tonight. They are 12,000 strong. McEachern now taking over offensively. Suggs under tremendous pressure. Gets it off to the left side. But boy, as you can see, Bo Arnold could go nowhere. Suggs was barely able to get that away because Cantrell Cooley, the 6'3" junior, was right in his face. Let's see it again.
Well, it's a great inside rush by Buck Blaylock, the nose guard. He splits the right guard and center, Jernigan and Randy Gibbs, and is able to get in there and is right in his face. And Bo Arnold, don't try to take it back inside, Bo. There's a lot of help coming. This is a speed defense. They get a lot of guys to the ball.
Well, as this game goes along, the defenses just seem to be getting better. Both these squads are now going backwards. 2nd and 17, and they try to pick up a couple yards. There's about 7 different coaches on the sidelines for Valdosta are signaling for a timeout.
Well, they know they have them backed up here.
Minute 15 is on the clock,
and so they want to stop them on 3rd down. Maybe get a shot at a block if they're in a tight punt formation, or maybe shot at return, or at least some offensive play before the half. You're going to get great field position if they shut them down right here.
Valdosta, located 17 miles from the Florida-Georgia line on I-75. 230 miles south of Atlanta, 150 miles north of Orlando, and 100 miles southeast of, or rather northeast of Northwest. I got my directions mixed up of Orlando, of Jacksonville.
Don't be knocking down the set with all that noise, Note, huh? You hear that background? Sorry.
Trying to break a chair there? Well, McEachern trying to pick up their first state championship. 5 times they lost in the first round to the eventual state champion. So let's find out what's going on in some of the other games around the state, as there are other championship games. Darlington and Lincoln County, they're in the 3rd quarter, and no score in that game. And Early County 6-3 over Carrollton in the 1st quarter. Here's a quick kick. So Suggs boots it out of there, and he'll get it to the 49-yard line. That's the first time I've seen a quick kick, Jeff, in probably 3 or 4 years.
Yep. General Nayland certainly would have been proud. But
Destin Hill boots the ball, and he gets 39 yards. It was a rather low kick, but there was nobody back to field it, and he got a good roll. So,
well, he wanted to get more of that hop in that roll. I think they wanted a little bit more out of it than they got, but a little strategic move by Coach Dorsey. Backed up 3rd and 15.
Valdosta operates out of the shotgun with time running out. Take it to Patterson, and the quarterback Gatlin is free on the left side. Bo Arnold has got to bring him down, and he does. Boy, that play could have gone for really big yardage, but Arnold was able to get out there and stay with him. Had he not been able to fight off the blocker, Jeff, that could have been a big play.
Watch him run away from Joe Jones, the outside linebacker. He fools everybody with the fake, and if Scott Flesher can stay with that block and maybe if Carlos can set him up a little bit, he might have something.
Now the pass down the middle goes to Brendan Johnson. Breaks 1 tackle and gets down inside the 10-yard line. Edward Bowen finally brings him down. Here comes Valdosta. They're on the move. 40 seconds on the clock. They're inside the 10-yard line. They spotted at the 6. And the official indicates another timeout taken by Valdosta. So they'll have just 1 timeout left as Coach Mike O'Brien comes out on the field to talk to his squad. You can do that in high school football. One coach is allowed to go out on the field during a timeout.
What better man to send, your head coach and your offensive coordinator when you're on offense, than Mike O'Brien. 2 nice plays by Carlos Gatlin. He is the creator. He is the guy who has got to make plays for this offense tonight. They've got to make up the lack of the big-time power running game of Carl Walker to his injury. Stewart is doing all he can, trying to take over that role, but Carlos Gatlin is going to have to hit some passes tonight. That was a big one to his leading receiver this year, Baron Johnson. Coming in this game and caught 33 balls on the year.
Well, Valdosta likes to do it with quickness and speed on offense. They have a solid defense. It's been very evident tonight. Coach O'Brien says we have a team concept. Patterson goes out to the left at the last second. Only one running back. That's Stewart as they spread him out. Gatlin keeps it, runs the option. Here's a little pitch. In the corner, it's Stewart, and he goes in for the touchdown. Fred Stewart, who ran wild last week, gets the first score of the football game, and Valdosta leads it 6-0.
Nice call. Excellent call by Mike O'Brien as he came out and told his team, watch. Here you see Carlos Gatlin. Pulls it to the last second. That's Jamie Hamilton spinning him around. The last second. And then he eludes the tackler, Ray Ivey, talking about Stewart, and takes it in the end zone. Very determined running out of Stewart tonight, but Carlos Gatlin creating some plays.
Point after touchdown coming up. The kick is up, and it is good. Hunter Lane. 7-0. Valdosta.
Well, I think you see the adjustment that has to be made, certainly by McEachern. Replay again. Hamilton does a nice job of corralling him, but Gatlin does a better job of making the pitch. Great patience by Stewart just to hang there and wait for it, and then determined running. But
there you see the scoring drive, just 3 plays, 49 yards, and they had 2 really big plays in that drive.
I think we saw Eric Levesque come up twice and make some tackles at the line of scrimmage. You're going to have to see a little bit more run support from that secondary, especially on the edges with the option and the outside running. And they're also going to have to shut down that little inside trap. That's where Stewart has made 2 big runs tonight, that tackle trap. So that's what they have to do defensively. But offensively, McEachern has got to get back in this ball game by creating some offense, getting some consistency to it. Coach Hughes said keep them out of their rhythm, or keep in rhythm, was one of the keys for McEachern, and they haven't been able to do that.
Valdosta kicks off, and they put it on the ground. Levette, one of the up men, fields it, and he's still struggling for yardage and pushes all the way out to the 40-yard line. Just when it appeared that play was stopped, he just shoved forward for a couple more yards. 24 seconds remaining on the clock. I think that's the time that they have to shoot in the NBA when they used to play games.
24 second time?
Yeah.
2 timeouts left. Suggs very capable taking this team down the field. Bo Arnold is in that game trying to utilize his speed at one of the wideout spots.
A.J. Suggs, you can see his numbers. Fairly good field position, but no time whatsoever to work with. Suggs will put it in the air. Pretty good pressure, rolling to the right. Still looking. Gets to the line of scrimmage and then unloads the pass. And the clock is down to 17 seconds.
Well, there's the quickness once again of this defense. Outstanding quickness. Utilize what your strengths are, and the strength of Valdosta is your speed. Matt Herring, 6'1", 200 at the end spot, working against Max Benz, 6'3", 250. And he has given Max Benz a little bit of trouble tonight on that outside rush. Nice job by A.J. Suggs of avoiding it, but he doesn't throw it very well on the run in this case.
Well, you can see the seconds left in the half. Valdosta just scoring to take the lead, 7-0. Suggs goes with Odua. Odua finds some running room, but with time running out, they're down to 10 seconds. They will stop the clock. So a timeout is taken as Suggs walks over to the sidelines. You can see that both teams have 1 timeout remaining. McEachern used to coming from behind. They did it 3 times during the year, and none was more dramatic than their win over Northside Warner Robins when they were down 21-0. So they will not panic in this situation.
I've heard at least 3 coaches. Coaches from McEachern, also Valdosta, and Coach Hughes talked about Northside Warner Robins as maybe being one of the great teams in Georgia high school football this year that is not here. Just maybe because of that game there, jumping out 21-0 And then McEachern coming back and beating them 24-21.
Well, McEachern prides themselves on not having to rely on Suggs. You can see the career record of Coach Dorsey there, 173 victories. Not all of them came at McEachern. He was also the head coach at Paulding County for 3 years. He was an assistant at Sprayberry and Pebblebrook before that. But he's had 155 of those wins at McEachern. Suggs to throw. Drops back. Wants to uncork it. In trouble. Now drops it off. Flips it to the running back. A little safety valve. There's McKenzie on the wing. And while McKenzie gets a first down, he also runs it up across the field as time expires. And the first half comes to an end. And you can see Jimmy Dorsey heading for the locker room as we go down to the sidelines now. And Dennis Stumler.
Thanks, Bill. I've got Coach O'Brien with me. End of the first half. A great one as far as the fans go. How do you feel about your team right now?
I think they've done a great job. These kids are playing their hearts out. They're leaving it on the line. They know a lot of them, this is their last 2 hours they're going to play football. And they're not letting anything be left to chance. They're going after it.
Coach, it appeared the last couple of times you had the ball, you had some offensive things happen. You missed a wide receiver down the field, but then you were able to get it in. A great run by Stewart.
Right. We had a bad break down there, but that's all right. That's part of it. But then the kid made the other catch that got us down there. So they're doing a great job out there.
Coach, go to work. Thank you very much. Talk to you at the end of the second half. We've got a great second half of football still ahead. 7-0 the score. Valdosta up on top. Back to the booth and Phil Schaefer.
Much as we now go into the halftime activities coming your way. We're sure you'll enjoy the halftime. Again, it's a 7-0 football game. Stewart with the touch.
Our PBS station, serving Atlanta and all of Georgia. GPTV, bringing you the best.
You're watching the GHSA football finals on GPTV.
Back to Bazemore Hiders Stadium. It's halftime. Valdosta leads McEachern 7-0. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Ginocchio along with the coach, Jim Hughes from Colquitt County. Coach, a couple of key things, especially that last minute 15. Why the change?
A lot of good things going on there, a lot of good coaching. Valdosta used their timeouts to force the kicking situation. Coach Dorsey called a quick kick on third down so that they wouldn't have to kick out of the end zone. That's good coaching. Right. And then Valdosta had a sort of a blitzkrieg 3-play drive. Gatlin down the left sideline, Gatlin across the middle on the pass and run, and then Gatlin on the option to Stewart in the right-hand corner. They have great quick strike capability, and they demonstrated it there.
Yes, they sure did. A great first half. We're looking for a great second half coming your way. But first, the halftime activities. Let's go to the downstairs to the McEachern Marching Band.
Halftime score, 7-0. Valdosta up on top. We've been enjoying the McEachern band, and their director is Mac Bowman. You've been a busy man. How many band members did you bring to Valdosta with you?
We brought 188, Dennis. We've had a real exciting season. I've been at McEachern 21 years, and this is our longest and most exciting season. We're going out here with a win tonight.
I tell you what, it makes a big difference to the band members, too, when you're playing for a state championship out on the field.
Oh, it's great. We started coming down here in 1990. This is our third trip, and like I said, we're going out here with a win tonight.
You're giving the fans something special up there, too. You brought a goodly group of fans down from Powder Springs.
Yeah, we got a great crowd. Look at all those pom-poms over there.
We're going to talk a little bit about the fans and some of the support from McEachern High School with the principal right now, Ralph Williams, and the president of the Athletic Booster Club. Yeah, he's doing double duty. He's also the head of security at McEachern High School. We're talking about Ron Story. But first, Mr. Williams, we talked about all of the fans that you brought down and the students. Any estimation how many folks we have down from suburban Atlanta?
I'm sure it's close to 3,000. We're very thankful and very appreciative of this large number of fans. We have a lot of folks that couldn't make the trip. They're home watching you on TV, but we've got tremendous fan support.
We're certainly glad for that, and as we've been watching this game progress, I've been watching you on the sideline. You're a busy man. You get very much involved in the game action on the sideline with the fans itself, with the cheerleaders. You've even been a couple of officials' ears, I've seen down there.
Well, thank you, Dennis. I enjoy football, enjoy all of our activities. It's an exciting time, and we're very supportive throughout our community administration and teachers. We've got a large contingent. We brought down 2 buses with our staff on it. So we're all involved, real proud and excited about what's happening at John McEachern High School.
And of course, one of the big reasons for the involvement is the Booster Club, the Athletic Booster Club. It's not just for the football team, but Ron Story, you support a lot of the other sports as well, save for wrestling. Is that correct?
Yes, we do all sports, including basketball, track, golf, swimming. We support all of it. And I like to thank the hard workers that work for us each season, and the same people come out, and we're very appreciative of our fans. And I followed the team for 13 years now, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. We're very grateful to be here tonight.
Let me ask you very quickly, what is the one biggest thing that the Booster Club does? Probably 2 minutes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. You know, working for concessions to getting the people involved in things. There's just so many things that they do.
It's a great time. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the second half where it is a 7-0 score here at the halftime break. Valdosta up on top. Let's go back over to the booth with the coach and Jim Giannacchio.
All right, Dennis, thanks very much on this championship weekend. 2 other games going on. The single-A championship, of course, in Lincolnton, and the double-A championship taking place in Blakely between Early County and Carrollton. Last night, Coach, a great game here on GPTV between Peach County and Doherty.
It was a great battle. Even at the half, then Doherty pulled away. We played Doherty during the regular season, so we're familiar with them, and they did a great job.
All right, here's the highlights from last night in Fort Valley. There's Peach County in the huddle, so is Doherty, and they're ready to go. And first, it's Doherty, and quarterback Yul Joyner, the player of the game. Fade pass to Tommy Venisi.
We know what a great athlete Joyner is because we play him. He's one of the more talented quarterbacks that we faced this year.
A.J. Johnson got the offense going for Peach County. They're a great run after they scramble, getting away from the defense, gets the big first down. That set up their first score. Daniel Stripling with the 2-yard run, and we were tied at 7. Now, second half action. After a missed field goal that could have given Peach County a lead, Doherty came back. Joyner to Adrian Cockfield. What a great receiver, Coach.
Doherty has some great athletes. The scary thing is that many of them return next year, so they may be on television again a year from now.
I bet you can't wait for that. Joyner then to Venisi. It almost looks like a replay at touchdown number 1. That made it 14-7 Doherty. Then Joyner again finds Cockfield a gorgeous play.
This was a pretty pass and catch. They did exactly what they needed to do to defeat a very tough Peach County defense.
And look at this defense by Doherty. Maurice Mitchell and Montavious Stanley get a hold of Johnson. And then the defense again, look at this, Cockfield with the interception. He played well on both sides of the ball. Then Doherty fullback, Kelvin Leroy scores a 7-yard touchdown. And that made the final Doherty 27, Peach County 7. John Reynolds, his first state title as a head coach in 43 years of coaching. And there's your player of the game, Yul Joyner. What a great game, Coach.
It was a good ball game. They got Peach County in a situation where they had to do what they prefer not to do, which is throw and catch the football. But it was a great season.
Coach, you see third quarter score, Lincoln County ahead of Darlington, 6-0 in that single A championship. Halftime of the Quad A championship, as you see, Valdosta leads it at the half, 7-0 over McEachern. Here's the Valdosta marching band.
Back at halftime in Valdosta, where the Wildcats lead the McEachern Indians by a 7-0 score. And with me, the principal from Valdosta High School, Mr. Charles Bonner. Mr. Bonner, a lot of support here. I'm looking at the student section. Tell me a little bit about your school here in Valdosta. How many students do you have, and staff included?
We have 1,750 students enrolled right now. Have 107 teachers and about 25 more faculty members. Tonight, we probably have 850, maybe 900 students watching the game or involved in cheerleaders, football players, band members, or ROTC.
The school obviously very much gets into this, do they not?
They're supportive of athletics and academics.
When you talk about support, you've got to talk about the support from the community, and that's where the president of the Touchdown Club, John, famous name Nitschke, comes into play. John, on a game-to-game basis, tell me a little bit about some of the duties that you have to perform as the president of the club here.
Well, we take a real simple philosophy, Dennis. We believe our coaches' best time is spent doing what they do best, and that's coaching. So anything and everything outside of dealing with X's and O's with these young people, we take on, whether it's media, discussions, setting up press conferences, to game preparation, making sure they've got Coke, drinks back there, enough equipment on hand, and even in some cases feeding the team. And we all do that by community involvement, and that's what we think is real special about Valdosta.
There was a big article in one of the Atlanta papers a week or so ago about the importance of booster clubs. You obviously feel this is an important endeavor to make this team successful off the field and on the field.
Absolutely, and of course I think that's a very positive situation. If you look around at some of the cases in America that you have in communities, you've got 10,000 people out here supporting young people. There's nothing wrong with that.
You betcha. You got a lot of support for that second half, where Valdosta is going to have to come back from a 7-0 hold. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We're going to send it back to Jim Giannacchio, but first let me wish a very special, heartfelt hope for rapid improvement to Jim's father, who we understand is ill back in Atlanta. Jim, our thoughts and prayers are with him and with you on the sidelines. Jimmy?
All right, Dennis, I appreciate those comments, buddy. Halftime, Valdosta leads at 7-0. Coach, we have first half highlights. You ready?
I'm ready for
All
it.
right, let's put our seatbelts on, and here we go for first half highlights. McEachern and Valdosta. First of all, that defense is playing a big part in McEachern, and then Valdosta's defense.
Both defenses are playing great. One touchdown between the two. Great penetration by Valdosta on that series.
And then one of my favorite, fleet-footed Freddie Stewart.
He was very tough, broke a couple of tackles getting down the right sideline. They finally drove him out of bounds. He's small, but he's strong.
And then, of course, the touchdown. What a play by Gatlin, and even a better play by Freddie Stewart to score the TD.
Again, he broke a tackle to get in the end zone. He's a great athlete.
Great play. Valdosta leads 7-0. Let's go downstairs to Dennis Dumbler.
Jimmy, thank you very much. We've got Jimmy Dorsey, the head coach of McEachern. Coach, what were your words in the halftime?
Well, we just need to start moving the ball a little bit. They're awfully tough on defense, and you know, we haven't done a good job pass blocking right now. We tried to work on our protection. If we can do that, we feel like we can throw the ball a little bit on them. But right now, you know, they made a big push there right before halftime, but we're just one play away from getting back in the game.
You don't feel like this is too big a hole at all, do you?
Well, we've been in a lot worse holes than this, so we reminded them of that. So hopefully we can make a game out of it.
No panic on your sideline, right?
No, not at all. Thanks.
Jimmy Dorsey, the head coach at McEachern. We've got a tremendous second half ahead. Let's continue on with our halftime activities. Back to Jim Ginocchio.
All right, Dennis, when we return to Bazemore Hyder Stadium, the second half kickoff between Valdosta and McEachern. It's all coming your way after these messages and a word from GPTV. Enjoy the second half, everybody.
From Bazemore Hyder Stadium in Valdosta, Georgia, the Valdosta Wildcats seeking their 23rd state championship lead McEachern by a score of 7-0, and they are doing it with defense. They have given up only 47 total yards, as you can see by the stats on your screen. They have 131 yards themselves. Not all that impressive, but when you consider the kind of ball game that we're seeing here tonight, it is impressive.
Well, I think the 6-minute time of possession, Valdosta is doing what it needs to do with its offense. It's running the football. Stewart's averaging better than 4 a carry. Carlos Gatlin is filling the void there, so they're making up for the loss of Walker, but they're keeping the powerful offense of McEachern off the field, and when it's on there, then Valdosta's defense is doing what it's supposed to do and force them into punts. 6 punts in the first half.
So here's the kickoff as Gilligan will boot it down the middle. This is Johnson at the 8, right up the middle, across the 20, breaks to the outside, finds an alley, still free as he crosses the 40, and Valdosta will start the second half of this football game in excellent field position. They lead the ball game 7-0 on a run by Stewart on a 49-yard drive in just 3 plays in the closing seconds of the first half. 37 yards on the return, and out comes Carlos Gatlin. Gatlin and Stewart have carried the load offensively thus far in this football game for Valdosta, as Valdosta lost their leading rusher, Carl Walker, who had run for over 1,100 yards in the previous games. Here's Stewart once again, and Stewart running in traffic crosses the midfield line. Matt Clay was there, so was Bo Arnold. Carlos Gatlin. He has thrown for 1,410 yards coming into this game, 16 touchdowns. He's also run for another dozen. So he is a big part of their big part of their offense, and the official stopping the clock momentarily as we have a little equipment work being done on Barron Johnson, their leading receiver. He's all right. We're set to go. Patterson is the lone running back behind Gatlin. Gatlin plunges straight ahead for the first down. Carlos Gatlin, whose run in the third quarter beat Brooks County in the second game of the season, one of the close games that Valdosta had this season.
Easy first down on a quarterback sneak. Nice job on that right side. I think that's Godfrey and might have been Brett Hester, but working against Clay Miller and the middle linebacker Keith Piper. Big hole up the middle.
Gatlin, who can throw. He threw for 3 touchdowns against Lowndes this year in the game at the end of the regular season, and he wants to throw right now. Fires one to the right side, and it's through the hands of the intended receiver, Barron Johnson, who's 6'3", 180 pounds, and he's a senior. Need a little bit more time. Carlos Catlin talking about the back block by Dykes, the center, is not effective enough on 94. Ray Miller, he's able to chase him down from the backside and pressure him a little bit before he can set himself and make that throw and completion.
Catlin, who runs a 4.640, and as you can see, he is 2 for 7 in the game tonight. Both offenses struggling in the early going. Patterson pushes up the middle. 205-pound senior carrying the football. He plans to go to either Vanderbilt or Princeton after his graduation.
Two pretty good schools.
Newsom and Piper, the two linebackers, are there to greet him.
Always wanted to see an Ivy League game in person. Never have. One of my goals sometime, maybe go to the Yale Bowl, and I'd like to see the Ivy League play in person one time, one fall afternoon, to see what it's like.
Not one of my top priorities, but I wouldn't mind seeing one.
I've seen Vanderbilt play a lot.
Yes, so have I. Pass intended for Johnson is incomplete.
Well, it doesn't get turned around. A little miscommunication between Baron Johnson and Carlos Catlin and what they want to do in that play. He wants to throw an out, talking about the quarterback, and Johnson wants to turn back inside. So miscommunication, misroute. I think Baron Johnson didn't go the way that I see Coach O'Brien talking to him on the sidelines and maybe explaining it to him. And McEachern does what it has to do after giving up a great kickoff return. They hold here and stop him, but they're not going to have very good field position.
Justin Northcutt to punt it away to Bo Arnold, but he'd like to put it inside the 10-yard line, and he kicks it toward the sidelines. And I think he kicked it out close to the 20. Well, let's see where the official's going to say it officially went out. They're walking now up across the 25, and I think it'll be spotted at the 26-yard line. So they really didn't get the yardage on that kick as they wanted. It only goes for 17 yards. So McEachern will take over. First time in the second half. Fourth time they have been behind this year at halftime. Suggs at quarterback. Odua lines up behind him. Suggs to throw quickly. Out on the right side it goes, and the pass is cut immediately. So they get the ball to Bo Arnold out on the wing. Jason Williams, a linebacker, was out there with him. But I think Jimmy Dorsey wanted to come out on that first play, Jeff, establish a little confidence in their throwing game by getting a completion.
They're only 7 yards passing, and A.J. Suggs, we've seen the graphic earlier, 1,900 yards on the year, a 62% completion guy. He was 2 for 7 in the first half. A lot of that was due to the defensive pressure by Valdosta getting after him. But once again, I think if you're McEachern, and Jim mentioned this before the show, throw when you want to throw.
Odua trying to get the first down. Will be close, but I don't know whether he got it.
They really don't have a straight at you type of play. They have a little bit of a lead play or a lead draw. I've seen them run the last 2 weeks watching their offense, but the majority of their running attack is built upon pulling guys and pulling guards, pulling tackles, motion blocking, getting a number of blockers at the hole. So they don't really have a play where they kind of run at you, although we did see A.J. Suggs sneak it about 3 times last week.
Well, they may have to do it again because they're coming up short on the measurement. Seems like Valdosta does what they have to do to win against Griffin. They held Griffin to just 90 yards offense, and thus far they've held a very high-scoring McEachern team to just 47 yards in the first half of this football game. They won that Griffin game 20-13 and did all their scoring in the third quarter in that game, and they got some help from their defense in that game in several ways. Adrian Johnson with a 34-yard fumble return got one of their scores. Now McEachern lines up. Wing tee, 2 wideouts. They give it to Levette, and Levette goes off the left side, faked it in the middle to Odua, and then got the first down.
Odua with the block on Sam Rogers. That was a block that Levette cut behind, pick up the first down, but he danced a little bit. It wasn't as if it was a clean hole over there. A lot of speed on this Valdosta defense. We've been talking about it all night long. McEachern hasn't solved it yet about how to make the speed work against
Valdosta's defense, misdirection or something.
Put McKenzie on the wing. Suggs back to throw. Rush coming. He avoids it. Still retreating. Can't find a receiver. Now just throws the ball away. So it is thrown into the sidelines, although McKenzie was in the vicinity. He had one man going deep, but there was no way he could find him. That was Arnold, who went down the middle because the pressure was coming very hard from Valdosta. Boy, they have done a great job defensively of putting the pressure on the quarterback. And you heard Jimmy Dorsey talking at halftime how they had to protect him.
I think they were trying to set the screen at that time to Odua. Buck Blaylock forced the issue a lot faster than A.J. Suggs was ready to get rid of the ball. And by the time he got outside, there was nothing there, and he did throw it away.
Suggs back to throw. Here comes pressure. He unloads it at the last second. Gets it out to Odua, who cannot break a tackle, and he'll be caught for a loss despite the completed pass by Marlon Buford, the 6', 220-pound senior who was over there with him.
Once again, defensive pressure from Valdosta. Looking on to the screen on your right side, you'll see Cantrell Cooley forcing Suggs. He does a great job of getting rid of the ball, and that's an excellent catch by Odua. But he's well covered by Buford, and he got rid of the ball before he wanted to. And all night long, so far, Valdosta has dictated to McEachern in the passing game, except for the first down pass of the second half.
Suggs back to throw. Rifles one down the middle. What a catch is made by Bo Arnold. Arnold, despite the pressure, went up in the air, and Jason Williams was right there with him. Watch this catch.
Here's a Buck Blaylock, the nose guard, running free up the middle. And once again, forcing Suggs to throw the ball before he wants. That is a great catch, though, by Bo Arnold. Going high in the air for the ball. You know, to look at it. Watch Blaylock. Look at his effort up the middle here. And he just does not have enough time. He knows that that is not going to be a first down pass.
Despite the great catch, it's still 4th and 6, so they punt it away. This is Johnson fielding it, gets a block, looks for the wall on the right side. He's at the 30 as a flag is thrown, and he is spun out of bounds at the 41-yard line, but they could be bringing that one back.
You're hearing the booing. It's Joseph Collins, number 97. He was the block that everybody oohed about, and now they're booing about. Corey Swain, the linebacker, number 43. He cleans him right there at around the 30-yard line, and that's what springs him up the right side. That springs Baron Johnson for that run.
Got a slip during the run back, half the distance, first down.
And let's stay on the sidelines now with Dennis Tumler.
Now Valdosta's pinned very deep in their own territory. It's going to be important for the McEachern defensive line to step up. If they can do that, number 98, Jamie Hamilton, and number 94, Ray Miller, have got to start putting some more pressure on.
7:26 left to go in the third quarter. 7-0 ball game. Valdosta has the lead, and now they will certainly like to get something out of their inside power game. You can see the penalties. There haven't been many of them, but there have been a couple of big ones. They go with Stewart. He tries to slip outside, gets a couple of yards. We're in Valdosta, the home of a cowboy, Doc Holliday, famous for a shootout at OK Corral. Jeff?
I'll be a Huckleberry.
Speaking of shootouts, if I wasn't here tonight, I'd be at a wedding. Buckshot Jones is getting married tonight, a former high school football player at Tucker High School, and now of NASCAR fame. He's our best wishes to Buckshot and Gina in the future, but Buckshot was a defensive back at Tucker High School some years ago.
Congratulations on the NASCAR circuit.
Oh, 0-0. Here's the handoff fake to Patterson. Gatlin comes up the middle. Some deception by Valdosta as they try to get out of that hole. 6:36 left to play. Joe Jones was there, no relation to Buckshot, and Ray Miller.
Michael Bryan's designed a nice attack to counteract that size that McEachern presents for you with Hamilton and Miller and Clay and Kaufman across the middle. There you see Shannon Levette tonight, 6 rushes, 38 yards. The cousin of Eric Levette, the son of Rambling Robert Levette of Georgia Tech fame out of Cartersville, Georgia. The great players in Tech history.
Valdosta leading it. They have the football. They've done it with defense thus far. Here's Gatlin keeping the football as he is tripped up at the 30-yard, or rather the 20-yard line. And that'll bring up a 4th down. So Valdosta forced to punt once again to a McEachern team that generally scores a lot of points. The least points they have scored all year, 14 against Pebblebrook and 14 against South Cobb. McKenzie is back along with Bo Arnold to accept the punt. Justin Northcutt will boot it away. And boy, does he boom it. Catch is made by Arnold. Shakes one man, now another, but he won't go very far as the coverage was down there. Boy, that was a good punt. But Valdosta was deep in their own territory, so McEachern will still get good field position despite a 39-yard punt. Well, nothing says Christmas and Atlanta more than Robert Shaw. GPTV premieres its newest production with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra on Wednesday, December 23rd at 9 p.m. And not only is GPTV preserving a rich Atlanta tradition, but the whole country will be watching on PBS, just as a lot of people are watching this game right now. Here's the handoff given to McKenzie, and McKenzie trying to get around the corner, does not. Well, we hope you watch the Atlanta Symphony with Robert Shaw on your PBS station, and we also hope that you're enjoying tonight's game. Phil Schaefer along with Jeff Van Note. Michael Larry and Marlon Buford making the stop on the play. 4:40 left to play in the 3rd quarter, and Valdosta holding on to a 7-0 lead. Here is two very explosive football teams.
Looks like they're working on Bo Arnold's foot or ankle, maybe just adjusting his tape on the sidelines there.
Suggs to throw on the left side. Gilligan makes the reception. That is his first catch of the night. Gilligan makes the grab. He has 68 for the year for 971 yards. Now make it 69 as Godfrey Moore was over there with him.
Maybe the cleanest pocket A.J. Suggs has had tonight. A lot of time for Gilligan just to run down in front of the defensive back, number 29, Godfrey Moore. Double coverage, too. Sam Rogers is lurking over near, and that's the first catch for Gilligan tonight. He's caught 54 balls this year. They need to get him the ball to produce some offense.
Late in the 3rd quarter, there's Gilligan. He's set to the left. Quick pass to him. He's got it at the 40. That'll be a first down as he is muscled out of bounds. So Suggs, who did not find Gilligan in the first half at all, is connected on 2 straight plays.
And watch Henry Odua picking up the blitzing linebacker, Marlon Buford. Well, you don't see it in the graphic, but that allowed Suggs to get that off. Coach, let's see, the defensive coordinator for Valdosta, Coach Tarpley, running a run blitz in a 3rd and a short situation and trying to create a play, and if it is a pass, they're in great position for it, but a good pickup and a good execution on the play.
Levette in motion, a little inside handoff goes to McKenzie, and McKenzie, they say fumbled the football, but the official said no, he was down, so Valdosta fans got rather excited in a hurry, but the official was right on top of it.
In order to make your trap blocking work, and this time it's a tackle trap, one of their favorite plays, pulling Kareem Walston from left to right, you need the angle blocks. The angle blocks of Randy Gibbs on the right side, the angle blocks of Max Binns to pin guys inside and pin the linebackers. Valdosta has been shooting Buford, has been shooting Johnson all night long, and they have made plays stopping that trap.
Passing situation. Suggs back to throw. Fires it on the right side. He is right on target. And although that was a long throw, they really didn't get that much yardage. He had stepped back in the pocket. Boy, he really retreated on that one. Made a very deep drop. So the pickup will be about 7 or 8 yards. You can see how far back he had to go as the pressure was coming. But the pass was right on target despite the double coverage.
And no chance for a run afterwards. That's only a 2-out pattern. They're only sending Gilligan and Bo out in a 2-out pattern for the most part, leaving the tight end, the backs in to block and help out for the penalty here.
And now McEachern is retreating. I missed the flag on that one, but we'll get the call from the official coming up. 2:19 left to play in the quarter. I think it was a personal foul.
I think it was holding. I think they called holding, and had a lot of time to throw, but he had maximum protection.
Less than 2 minutes left to play in the quarter. Suggs hands it off, gives it now to Gilligan. Gilligan on the reverse. In deep trouble, wants to throw it, does. And although it's complete, it only gets him about 1 yard. Gilligan threw the ball, but he had to retreat so much that he didn't really get much out of that play, and actually was lucky to complete the pass that he threw to Matt Rucknashell.
Well, he wanted to go deep. They wanted Arnold down deep. He was well covered by Jason Williams. Wasn't fooled at all on the reverse, sticking with Arnold as he ran down there. And the play really, the timing wasn't there for the play. Once again, I think the defensive pressure. Matt Herring on the left side. They've done a great job of forcing McEachern out of their offense.
So now they operate out of the shotgun. That holding call didn't help him any. Quick pass to Arnold. Bobbles it coming across the middle. Now tries to pick up additional yardage by circling around and may have lost a yard or two. Roosevelt Robertson was coming across with him. You can see Suggs firing the pass, and Arnold makes a nice grab and then tries to get away from the defenders and really can't do it, as Valdosta has the speed to stay with anybody, it seems.
Well, it was a nice effort. It was a good slant pattern. Gilligan comes back and cleans off Jason Williams, but not enough to run away from 93 for Valdosta.
So they'll have to punt. 4th and 12. Suggs gets it away. Nobody deep. And it goes into the end zone.
I think you sometimes forget it's just a 7-0 ball game. It's just a one-play game, and so it's a field position game. It's a defensive game, and if things aren't going your way offensively, you certainly can still play to your defense, play to your special teams, because it's only a one-play game. One play can tie this game up.
I'm not sure why Valdosta does not put anybody deep in certain situations, but we've seen that before.
They don't believe they're going to punt. They don't trust him.
Hey, they punted on 3rd down.
That's right.
24-second clock is on as there's a fumble on the play. And McEachern with Ray Miller has recovered.
I think that's Ray Miller with the stick. Ray Miller with the recovery.
Ray Miller, the big man in the middle for McEachern. And, boy, not only is he a big man, but that is a big play in a 7-0 ball game, as McEachern will get the ball on the 20-yard line.
First turnover of the game. Here you see it, Ray Miller. Well, you don't see Ray, but the fumble is in the backfield.
Yeah, they just never
exchange, no mesh.
Yeah, they never even, it was not a clean handoff, that's for sure. You could see that with the great camera work. Clay and Miller were right there. Here is Levitt spinning away. He's got some room. He gets into the secondary. He's down to the 11-yard line. Now, can McEachern capitalize on the turnover? Just a couple seconds left, and the 3rd quarter is going to end right now. That's the end of the 3rd quarter of play. It is a 7-0 football game, but McEachern is knocking on the door. So a lot of excitement left as we go to the 4th quarter. 7-0 is the score as Valdosta leads McEachern. We're starting the 4th quarter, but McEachern is knocking on the door. They are inside the 6-yard line, and now watch the big guys up front. Kareem Walston and Max Binnens, the 250-pound tackles. Michael Dillard, the 250-pound guard, along with Randy Gibbs. He's 235, and Andrew Jernigan in the middle. They run up the middle. Odua gets down to the 2-yard line. So that time they followed Michael Dillard.
Well, you've got on the left side there Jamie Hamilton at the tight end spot, running to their left behind Hamilton, the big left tackle, Kareem Walton. And then look at the lead block by Eric Levette here on Joseph Collins. Nice job of Hamilton and Kareem Walton collapsing the right side of the defensive line. I think it's Michael Leary. And then the lead block, kickout block by Levette.
McEachern up to the line. They'll go to the left. Odua pushes in. Touchdown, McEachern. So the fumble gives McEachern an opportunity, and they capitalize.
Yeah, excellent running and excellent blocking, Eric Levette. Eric Levette got him here on the first down play from the 20. The spin move he made to pick up 9 yards. And then turning it over with the blocking of Eric Levette, and they ran it twice to that left side. Power play.
Justin Hill puts it up. His PAT is good, and we are tied at 7.
You got to do if you're McEachern. I said there were one play. They made the one play on getting the fumble, and then their offense scored with it. A turnover into some points. They did 7-7. This game is all even after 3 quarters of play. It is an even game. Really fine football game. Well played tonight by 2 worthy champions. Great defense. Very clean game. Only a couple of penalties tonight.
The Valdosta defense has done something that nobody else has done this year. They have held McEachern scoreless for 3 quarters. But now the fumble gives the Indians an opportunity, and they take advantage of it.
And now it becomes how you answer it offensively. Momentum, if you want to say, has shifted. Yeah, it sure has, because of the fumble and because of the score and the fact that they tied this game up. Now, do you answer that turnover yourself with a measure of offense, with some points, or the minimum you want to get out of this is reestablish field position by putting McEachern back? McEachern wants to hem you up down tight.
Gilligan to kick off. Sends it down the right side, and it will bounce on the 1. They thought it was going in the end zone, and then Johnson picks it up, finds a crease, gets it out across the 20 to the 25-yard line. They had no idea that ball was going to stay inside the goal line. It was sailing down there. It hit at about the 1-foot line, took that little hop backwards, and Johnson had no choice but to pick it up and run with it.
But a very heads-up play by Johnson. Got a Sunday hop. It knuckled back to him, and he was alert to take it right up the crease there to pick up some pretty good field position at the 25.
Opening minute of the 4th quarter. Out of the shotgun. They go to Stewart. The little guy on the move. Takes it to the 39-yard line. He has a first down. Boy, he is quick.
Split him out. No tight end. Look at the lead block by Emery Patterson. He puts it on Wes Newsom, the inside linebacker. And that is a great-looking lead play out of the shotgun. Not a lot of teams can run that. You got to have some speed to run that. Stewart does a good job of hitting the crease.
Boy, Stewart showed his speed against South Gwinnett when he went for 156 yards earlier in the playoffs a couple of weeks ago. He is hard to hem in. And they'll go to him on the toss sweep. He's going to throw it back. Goes to the quarterback, and although it was a nifty little play, it didn't net much.
Jamie Hamilton looking for that all the way. He feels the sucker block by Corey Williams, the tackle, trying to log him inside. He keeps playing out. Jamie Williams came off that play, and Joe Jones, the outside linebacker, he wasn't fooled either. They had 2 players over looking for the throwback pass.
So a good defensive play by Hamilton, who is the only player on McEachern to go both ways.
Starting center on the basketball team, nice looking player, good blocker at tight end, good receiver. Haven't thrown to him tonight.
Stay in the shotgun, 2nd and long, and Gatlin scrambling up the middle to the 44-yard line. However, they've got to go to the 49 for a first down. See it again.
Well, it's a planned quarterback draw all the way. Matt Clay comes off the block of Joe Godfrey, hustling over there by Joseph Jones, who was just involved on the previous play on the other side of the field, the weak side linebacker.
But, Jeff, no doubt the loss of Carl Walker had to change their game plan for this contest.
Well, they put the burden on Gatlin and Stewart to carry the bulk of the running game tonight, and they responded so far.
McEachern brings a lot of players up on the line, and Gatlin to throw, rifles one down the middle, and it is caught. Baron Johnson, their leading receiver, catches it. First down, Valdosta. We see it from behind. We see what the quarterback sees.
You're seeing a little bit of a zone, and Baron Johnson just settles down in the zone in front of Eric Levette, in front of Bowden, the safety, and puts a little bit of nifty move after Eric Levette misses the tackle. Very nice throw and catch.
Gatlin surveying the situation. Will run it again on the quarterback draw right up the middle. Now he's got some running room on the left side. Breaks a tackle. Wants to spin back in. They're down to the 25-yard line. And Valdosta coming right back after the touchdown by McEachern.
You got McEachern reel a little bit on defense. The quickness and speed. This is a lead draw. Emerson Patterson running up the middle, putting a block on. He gets two great blocks out here. I didn't catch the first one, but Baron Johnson, you see, can a little bit of a shield block that allows him to get outside. Nice call. Michael Bryan doing a nice job with his play calling tonight.
Carlos Gatlin has been the big man on this drive. This time he hands it off to Stewart, and Stewart tries to pick up a couple yards, but he is grabbed from behind by one of those big guys up front, Ray Miller.
Big splits in this Valdosta line. You've seen the blocking on Clay Miller. That was Clay Baker, I think. Number 60 was, or Cliff Baker, I'm sorry, number 60 that was blocking on Ray Miller at that time, and he bleeded off and made the tackle.
You could see Coach Dorsey signaling for the timeout, and he's going to get it with 8:17 left to play in the final quarter of play. So timeout has been called by McEachern, as they need to make a stand here defensively.
He's looking for a play. He's looking for somebody to make a play.
Of course, this is not the only championship game going on, and you can see a final in the Class A state championship. Darlington beat Lincoln County 16-6. It's halftime between Carrollton and Early County, and right now Carrollton is enjoying a 23-12 lead, and that's for the state AA championship. Now let's go down to the sidelines and Dennis Dumler.
Phil, I overheard a conversation with a couple of the offensive coordinators on the Valdosta sideline. They told their offensive players, hey, you've had plenty of time to rest because of that fumble on the early possession just a couple of possessions ago that set up that McEachern touchdown. So the Valdosta offense is relatively well rested right now, and it looks like they've got fresher legs as they're moving down the field right now. They say they're going to try and rely a lot on quarterback Gatlin as they try and push it into the end zone here, Phil.
Thank you, Dennis. I guess that proves you better watch what you say around Dennis, or he'll tell everybody. Gatlin, he's going to run it again right up the middle. They've run that play several times on this drive. They just keep running that quarterback, and he keeps knocking off big chunks of yardage.
The third time tonight, or this drive alone, excuse me, not third time tonight, quarterback draw. No spy at all. Excellent blocking up front by his offensive line. And there you see Ray Miller making a leaping attempt to make a tackle at the line of scrimmage, unsuccessful.
16-2 in state championship games played right here.
This is where they run the field.
Okay, Gatlin in the shotgun. He's been running it. This time he lets Stewart run it up the middle. And the little guy finds a nice crease and gets it down to the 5-yard line. Stewart gets up and grabbed that right knee. We also have a man down. That's one of the big guys for McEachern.
Looks like Matt Clay down. This is just the lead play they've been running out of the split formation. The lead, I mean, and it's the only play they run out of this. They're not throwing the ball a lot tonight out of shotgun. Excellent blocking, but excellent running.
Augusta native Jesse Norman is coming home to Georgia for Christmas in a new GPTV special. This special program will air on GPTV and PBS stations around the country. Jesse Norman, a holiday homecoming, is also the first high-definition performance program to air on PBS. So watch GPTV make history Monday, December 21st at 9 p.m. They continue to work on the injured player. Right now, if you are a Valdosta fan, you must wonder about number 2 that you see there, because he was not walking all that well on the leg when he got up. Jeff, we were down in the locker room before the game. We passed through the Valdosta locker room, and you always hear about the little messages that are taped up, and they had one of the articles taped up all over the locker room about the fact that McEachern had been #1 from the very beginning of the season.
Yeah, there's some, quote, little locker room fodder that trying to get their folks a little motivated, and they've done a great job of motivating from an underdog role this year.
7-7 to score. We'll be back right after these messages. Valdosta up to the line of scrimmage. It is 2nd down. They can get a 1st down without scoring. They go to Stewart off the right side. Oh, they faked it to him, and Gatlin rolls in. They faked it to Stewart. Gatlin kept it, and he scores.
I think the real key to offensive line, but obviously got to have some execution, but is play calling. It's what you call and when you call it. They've been running the lead play to Stewart out of this formation, spread formations of Stewart and Patterson in the backfield with Gatlin, and they're having a lot of success with it on this drive. Look at this fake by Gatlin, and he fools everybody, takes it around the left side, gets a nice block down in the corner of the end zone. I think it was on Eric Levitt. Might have been Baron Johnson or Scott Fletcher. Didn't catch the number.
Hunter Lane to attempt the PAT. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So it is a 14-7 lead as Gatlin, the main man on the drive for the Wildcats. Time and again, he ran that quarterback keeper right up the middle. That time he faked it to Stewart and rolled around to the left side. 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
If they'd have run the lead, he might have scored also. Poor adjustment McEachern has made to the spread formation in this play. Not so much this play. I think they've run this once or this is the 2nd time I think I've seen this tonight. But the lead play, they've run 4 or 5 times. They've had a lot of success. He might have scored if he'd have handed it to him.
14-7 is the score. Valdosta coming right back. These are two high-scoring teams. During the season, McEachern averaged 36 points a game, and Valdosta averaged almost 32 a contest. Right now, it's 14-7, and we are getting very late in this state championship game. Valdosta to kick off. The boot comes down, and Bo Arnold will field it on the 6. Cuts to his left, looks for an alley, trying to get around the corner. Does, but finally runs out of football field. So McEachern will start with fairly good field position.
They need some execution out of their offense, a combination of passing and running. And I think when they started the 3rd quarter, the very first play was a pass, and it was an excellent way, a pass to set up the run. 9 plays, 74 yards. 4 minutes off the clock, all very positives for Carlos Gatlin and the Valdosta football team, the Valdosta Wildcats, as he takes it in for the score.
Now McEachern takes over. They give it off to Levitt, and Levitt goes nowhere. Shannon Levitt, only a sophomore, averages better than 7 yards per carry, but not on that play.
294 yards rushing last week on Colquitt County. They hit 40 yards at half. I'm not sure what they have to this stage of the game. And Colquitt County was the last team to beat Valdosta. They won 8 straight since then, including beating 3 undefeated teams coming in here against undefeated McEachern.
2nd and 8. The ball on the 35-yard line. Suggs, as he retreats, will not unload the pass because a flag was thrown. And the penalty will be against McEachern, as it looks like we had some movement in the line before the snap. So they'll be back on their 30-yard line. Still 2nd down.
Procedure on the offense. Repeat 2nd down.
Defensive substitution. Take out a defensive lineman, 94, Michael Leary, and replace him
with a DB. He's going to a little bit of a nickel look right now.
So they're expecting the pass with 5 penalties for 50 yards, 2nd and 13, 6:27 left to go in the game. McEachern trailing. They have the ball. Suggs to throw. And it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker. And Valdosta coming down the field. Marlon Buford with the interception. And Valdosta celebrating.
Well, 2 great drops by Valdosta's linebackers, Buford and Adrian Johnson, both back with Henry Odua. You see a little pressure coming from Arthurius Dukes. But look at this. Both linebackers back very, very deep. He was trying to go to Odua over the middle. Both linebackers, though, in position. Marlon Buford in the best position to come up with the interception.
And after he caught that football, he ran 36 yards with it. Stewart coming in. They didn't have enough players on the field. They didn't have a tailback. And I think they were supposed to give it to him. They did. He is tripped up. That would have been a cute play. He goes back to hand it off, and there's nobody there. But knowing Gatlin, he'd have probably turned it into a positive play.
Coach O'Brien was trying to signal for a timeout. He wanted to make sure that he didn't get a negative play out of that. And Valdosta, though, very cool, calm, collected. Carlos Gatlin waited so they got into position, and you saw Emory Patterson whispering to Stewart, hey, run this. This is what we're trying to do.
Now they're operating out of the shotgun. Patterson is back there with Gatlin. Gatlin's going to run it up the middle again. Breaks free to the left side. Another touchdown.
Well, this defense is tired. This defense is tired. We've got 4 McEachern guys on the ground. Very, very tired. Miller had a shot at him. Miller's in the backfield, unable to wrap him up or unable to get near him. And then Wes Newsom, Eric Levette, both being well blocked downfield. But 4 McEachern defenders on the ground. They're very, very tired.
Well, a fumble led to the touchdown by McEachern, and now an interception sets up a TD for Valdosta. And they are going to try to make it a 14-point bulge as Hunter Lane will attempt the extra point. The kick is right down the middle. 21-7 is the score, and Valdosta on the verge of recording their 23rd state championship.
Here you see Carlos Gatlin is going to run the quarterback draw. Miller's in position, cannot come up with a tackle. Levette and Newsom both being blocked. And we saw Yul Joyner last night for Dougherty throwing and running the football. Tonight, we've seen another very clever quarterback, Carlos Gatlin. 2 plays, 11 yards, 21-7. McEachern's got their backs to the wall here a little bit. They're going to have to come out throwing. They have to put the ball in the air an awful lot.
Well, there's no doubt that Valdosta will be coming after Suggs as they have done throughout the entire game. They've done a good job of keeping him under extreme pressure throughout the entire football game.
And they've done it with infrequent blitz. They've done it with pressure from their front 4 or 5 when they've been in that 5-man line.
Keep it on the ground to try to avoid a long run back. And McEachern will get pretty good field position. .5:21 left to play.
What's that? Somebody's hurt over on the McEachern sideline. Arnold was taken out of bounds 3 or 4 yards out of bounds.
That was a Bo Arnold, I think. He's okay. He's back out there. Now they take Odua out, so they're going with their passing attack. No doubt about that. They have no choice. State championship game from Valdosta, Georgia. McEachern. They've had a wonderful year, 14-0 coming into this game. Pressure on Suggs, and he'll be sacked. The Valdosta defense doing the job.
Buck Blaylock. Buck Blaylock, only 170 pounds. You're going to see him to the right side of your screen. I think he's working against Dillard, 77. And Suggs has got to step up a little bit tonight. He has helped a little bit by continuing to drop back. That's a very deep, deep drop for your quarterback. He needs to step up. They're trying to form a pocket protection. And then he's gotten himself in trouble a couple of times tonight by continuing to go backwards.
Second down and long yardage. Here's Odua. Odua trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's about where he'll end up. Valdosta last week stopped the running attack of Brookwood. They held them to some minus yardage. This week they have shut down the passing of Suggs, so they seem to be able to do whatever they have to do with their defense. They have been very effective in the playoffs. Of course, when they beat Lowndes in their final game of the season, they had 6 sacks and held them to no yards rushing.
Lowndes County, coached by Milt Miller out of Seneca High in Louisville, Kentucky, an old friend of mine.
Lowndes isn't that far from here, about 5 miles. Gilligan makes the catch. Get off the interstate, go to the Toys R Us, and there's Lowndes.
Nice job by Gilligan coming back for the ball. Jason Williams and Roosevelt Brown all over. Here you see Suggs dropping back. Standing tall in the pocket, delivers the ball. Gilligan makes a nice catch. He's a little bit short of the first. You got to go for it now, though. I mean, 2 scores down. They're in the 4-down zone every series.
Well, I'd like to congratulate the entire crew for the job they've done on not only this game, but the last 2 weeks, and what a monumental task they took on in the Dome when you consider 8 games in 2 days and then the movement. Last night we were in Fort Valley, Georgia. Now we're in Valdosta. Hats off to Tom Vardace and the entire crew for all the work they've done. There's Shannon Levesque, and he'll get it out close to midfield, but time is running out on McEachern. They trail by 2 scores. Less than 3 minutes to play.
Clock's winding, though, and in a situation like this penalizes McEachern a little bit. Time's so precious. Having to go over to Coach Dorsey and get the play. They've lost every bit of 12 seconds so far.
Suggs to throw, fakes the short pass, now will go long, rifles one down the left side, and it is intercepted at the 10-yard line. So another big defensive play by Valdosta, and that one is going to seal the victory.
Didn't fool him. It was a nice hitch and go, good hitch pump by A.J. Suggs, but it doesn't fool anybody. Godfrey Moore staying right man for man. I didn't catch the receiver for McEachern in that instance. Might be Arnold. And then you see Roosevelt Brown come over, the safety. So they had the double coverage there. Roosevelt Robertson, excuse me.
Yeah.
Roosevelt Robertson coming over. He was never fooled by the little short hitch route.
Wrong era.
Roosevelt Brown. Wrong position, too.
Yeah.
Be hard to miss a big Rosie, I'll tell you. Roosevelt Brown, Robertson, though, 6'4", 185 pounds, senior safety.
And now Valdosta will try to run out the final 2 minutes and 20 seconds of this football game. There's Roosevelt. He is smiling. He will be remembered for getting the interception that stopped the last McEachern threat. We get to the 2-minute mark.
And gave Valdosta their 23rd state championship.
Their 3rd of the 90s.
That's dynasty stuff.
They won their last one in '92. They beat Clark Central. They won one in 1990. They beat Southwest DeKalb. You can see the state championships. In '89, they beat Clark Central. In '86, they beat Clark Central. In 1984, they beat Clark Central. In 1982, they beat Peachtree.
Clark Central don't want to play him, or probably do want to play him. What happens when somebody gets a string on you? What is it, Colquitt County? 8 out of 9?
Yeah.
On Valdosta. So
A lot of great teams in this state that played each other over the years, and in championship play and in the playoff play, they certainly are well familiar with each other, and they have some records against each other.
Well, Peachtree will never get a chance to get even with them because they're now middle school. There's Gatlin just running out of bounds.
Well, the changing fluctuation in population. Make a high school and middle school, huh? You're up on all that stuff. You should have corrected me when I said bleeds off. It should have been bled off. You're part of our education infrastructure, aren't you?
I'm there somewhere.
I've always thought of you as sort of just like a professor. Professorial.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Minute 19 to go. These two teams have both had great seasons. It's been a great high school season in the state of Georgia. A lot of very good teams, and hope that next year you'll go out and support the team in your area. Go to a high school game. It's usually $5 to get in to see a game, so it's great entertainment.
Great atmosphere for your young children to take them to a game.
Just don't always sit too close to the band because sometimes they'll clean out your sinuses. There's Gatlin. Yep, the Valdosta band and drill team, and they are happy. The tradition continues.
Celebrating in Valdosta tonight. This has been a great game. McEachern just a #1 ranked team.
Well, they call it Wintersville. Great tradition of quarterbacks, people like Buck Ballou, John Lastinger, Dan Bounds. Those are just some of the quarterbacks. Carlos Gatlin, he is the player of the game. I bet that doesn't surprise you. 37 yards passing, but it's the rushing that really did in McEachern. 87 yards, and it really came to life in the second half of this football game as he scored his 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter.
Well, Michael Bryan knew he had to make up for the loss of Carl Walker and his 1,000+ yards this year. He did it with a combination of Gatlin and Stewart and a little bit of help from Patterson and Ricky Williams too. Ricky Williams had a couple of nice runs in there tonight, so that's where the rushing yardage came tonight. But the effort of that offensive line outweighed probably 20-25 pounds a man tonight, especially the two guards playing against Ray Miller and Matt Clay. Outstanding effort by Coach Baker, Jerry Don Baker, a good Southern name, a former McEachern player, Valdosta player, coaching offensive line here. His offensive line, they call themselves the Untalkables. They were criticized roundly before the season as being too small, too slow, not strong enough. They rose up big tonight and played a whale of a game against a very good McEachern defense.
And now Mike O'Brien will have a painted state championship on the sidewalk for his school championship, as McEachern, however, gets a good run back.
And roughing the pass with them.
McKenzie came right up the middle, so that'll wipe out the good field position.
Yeah, they're going to get John Tillman for roughing the punter.
Mike O'Brien in his 5th year gets his first championship if they can hold on to this lead for another 1 minute and 1 second.
Coach Jimmy Dorsey will be back there again next year. He and his fine staff. And they have a senior-laden team this year. A lot of college prospects on there. Had a great season. Came up a little bit short tonight. It's a long ride back to Atlanta.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, first down.
So Valdosta can run out the clock. And Mike O'Brien can join the likes of Nick Hyder and Wright Bazemore, two legendary coaches who won a bunch of championships. Wright Bazemore won 14 titles. His last game in 1971, right here when he won the state title in the final game of the season against Avondale. And then Nick Hyder, who won 7 titles at Valdosta.
I like being a champion. Something that I never had the good fortune to taste. Championship, that's what you want to be when you play sports. So you want to play for a champion, you want to be a champion just one time.
McEachern stopping the clock with 30 seconds left to play.
I think we have the customary ice bucket down there, I see. Fellow's been watching ESPN Classics too much.
One of the players had taken his jersey off, and now they're running him into the ball game. They're going to put in, they're going to put in Carl Walker. Walker is going out. Walker has the broken leg. He doesn't have to have a cast on. You heard Dennis Demler talking to him earlier. So he's going out. He's going to be on the field. The fans realize that Walker has gone out there.
Well, Carl Walker.
Now what they do with him out there, I don't know.
Well, they're just going to sit down on a play. But Carl Walker, instrumental in getting Valdosta to this championship game.
Yeah, Walker had a tremendous season. There is the, hey, it's Coach Baker, isn't it, getting doused there? Yep, he's got the towel.
Yeah. Coach Sherry Town Baker, the offensive line coach.
Oh, he's fired up. Boy, he's just one of, there's what, Mike O'Brien says, I'm not sure don't distract me right now. I'm trying to make sure we got this win. Well, they're dumping Gatorade now on anybody they can find. Well, the clock is running out. The players are swarming the field. Valdosta will finish the season 14-1. So will McEachern. And the Wildcats have won another state championship. Their 23rd. The victory celebration has started. We still have 2 seconds. We're down to 1. Here's the horn. This game is over. Phil Schaefer along with Jeff Van Note. I want to thank you for being with us tonight. We're going to go down to Dennis Dumler. We know he's going to be down there talking to Coach Mike O'Brien if he can find him in all of that. Been quite a year for Valdosta. And now let's go down to Dennis. Dennis?
Phil, thanks a lot, Coach O'Brien. What a tremendous second half of football. What a drive to go ahead there in that fourth period. Question.
Well, our kids, the defense has played great all year, and they're doing a great job tonight. But the offense had to pick it up. We knew it, and our kids knew it. And they just got so much heart, they're not going to give in. And it took that kind of drive to get it down there, so that's what they would do. And then the defense gave it back to us, and we took it in. Number 12 is a great leader and a great ball player, and he makes us go.
One of your defensive assistants gave me a little bit too much credit. He came up to me on the sideline. He said, you told us that we had a lot of heart for a bunch of little guys, and you showed it out there tonight.
Well, that's the thing, that old saying about, they say it about dogs, but we say it about cats. Doesn't matter about the size of the cat in the fight, it's a matter of the fight in the cat. And there's too much fight in these cats to give up. They're not going to give up, and they're not going to go down.
There's been 22 of these state championships here before. This is one more. This is 23, but this is one big one for you, is it not?
It's extremely big for me and the coaching staff. These coaches, I can't say enough about what they've done. They've done an excellent job all year long, but those players have played their hearts out, and they beat a fine football team. McEachern has nothing to be ashamed of. Tonight, there was no losers on this field. We won the state, but they were not losers. They're too good a team to be that.
Coach O'Brien, you're a class act. This is a class town right here, a class program. You're to be congratulated.
Thank you very much.
And you mentioned number 12, Carlos Gatlin, who did just a tremendous job. We've got Carlos with us right here. Carlos, it looked like everything just really opened up the middle for you in the second half especially.
Well, it was a great feeling. Everything opened up in the second half. And I think we played a great game. Our defense hung in there, and we're just excited about this.
What did the coaching staff say to you? Did they tell you that maybe there was something special open up the middle?
Well, not really. We just saw something open up, during the drive, and we stuck to it. And that defense, they lacked the pressure that they should have had, but we were able to contain it.
Okay, tell me a little bit about this little guy versus big guy thing. You showed something out there, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. I just want to know why they're ranked in the nation and we can't be.
You may be now. Carlos Gatlin, our player of the game from Valdosta High School, making somewhat of a political statement there. What a tremendous finish here to the Quad A Championship. We're in Valdosta, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome back to Valdosta. The Wildcats are champions for the 23rd time in the state. 21-7 over McEachern. Welcome back, everybody. Jim Ginocchio with the coach, Jim Hughes from Colquitt. Coach, you the only team to beat Valdosta this season, and you've beaten them 8 times in the last 9 times. It's totally amazing. We've got scores from the games earlier this evening. The championship weekend continues with these scores here. Darlington wins it over Lincoln County 16-6. They had a big fourth quarter to come back in that one. AA championship. Carrollton leads 23. It's now 18 in the third quarter. AAA game, of course, we had last night here on GPTV. Doherty, a winner over Peach County, 27-7. What a championship weekend it's been, Coach.
It's been a great weekend, and we really appreciate you all for providing the telecast. There are a lot of folks who get to enjoy the games that would not be able to otherwise. This was a great one tonight.
We have some great engineers back in the truck, and they've got the highlights ready to go for this one. So here we go, Valdosta and McEachern from tonight. The highlights of the Quad A championship game. And here we go, A.J. Suggs calling the play and handing it off to Odua. And he comes up with that big run to score in the second half.
They had a fumble. Valdosta fumbled on the 20-yard line. They put that one in. This is a great touchdown run from Gatlin.
What a fake by Gatlin. Everybody thought Stewart had, and Gatlin took it. You said that the shotgun by Valdosta really made the difference, and that's what opened up the game for the Wildcats.
The running game by Gatlin out of the shotgun really gave them an advantage. 2 touchdowns out of it. Did a great job in the second half of keeping them off balance.
And there you have it. Valdosta wins it 21-7, their 23rd state championship. Coach, we want to thank you for all of your comments tonight in the Quad A championship game, and we appreciate you coming down from Colquitt County. I know it's tough to call a game like this in the announcer's booth.
Well, I appreciate being here, and I've enjoyed it. I'd much rather be coaching in it, but I've enjoyed it, and I congratulate both these teams for great seasons. McEachern came up a little bit short, but Valdosta, state champion.
All right, listen, we would like to thank especially the folks here in Valdosta. There's a couple of companies we'd like to thank for all of their hard work and dedication. First of all, special thanks to Douglas Carter, Gary Wilson, Cliff Beverly at the Rental Service Corporation, and also Terry Hunt at Advanced Rental for their scissor lifts that provide high camera angles for all the camera shots. We'd like to say goodnight from Valdosta on behalf of Dennis Stumler, Phil Schaefer, Jeff Van Note, the coach. I'm Jim Ginocchio. So long from Valdosta. Happy holidays, everybody.